aroma. Just forging down some little leaf necklaces. I've usually got a few more for sale, but I haven't got any left. So I thought this would be an ideal opportunity to make some little necklaces up. I don't generally do the necklaces, but I'm going to a show next weekend and they might go quite nicely over there. So I've started with a piece of 10mm round, and I've just forged a little leaf on the end, just using a hammer and a small chisel, and I'm just that's a little bit too long, so I'm just going to trim that off and then bend it into a circle. Twist that over just a little bit to make a little circle. And then that will be a little leaf necklace or a key ring. I'll demonstrate as soon as I've done this. So just get rid of that bit. Right, that's the bit I've done wrong. So now I'll just fatten the end up slightly, but not too much, just to tidy that end up a bit. That's it. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a point only at 90 degrees. I'm not going to put a point all the way around. So just so you'll see me hit on a point and turn it 90, then hit on another point. And so that's going to be the point on the leaf. So now I'll put a point on two sides. So there's the point that I was talking about, just on two sides. Now that's going to be the tip of the leaf. Now what I want to do now is isolate that area. So I'm going to put it on the anvil in that position, put a huge dent in, and that will isolate that area that I want for the leaf. And then I'll hit it, and the shape of the leaf will come out. But first I have to isolate it. The fire goes up to about 1,700 degrees. Wow. So it's a very, very hot fire. It's quite small, but very hot. So now I'll isolate that bit, like I said. That's the bit that I want. Hello. Hi. Hello. I'm just making a little leaf shape I usually sell a few little necklaces on the end there, but I've run out.
Oh.
So what I'm doing now, as I explained to these ladies and gentlemen, I'm making a little leaf shape on the end. So I've started off with a piece of round bar, and I've put just a point on at 45 degrees. So I've hit it there, and put a point on. Then I've turned it over and hit that against the anvil to isolate that area there, because that's the shape that I want to start the leaf with. Now I'll put it back in the fire, I'll heat that up, and I'll hit it right in the centre, and that will spread out into a leaf shape. What I'll do is I'll hit more one side than the other, and that will put a little kiss in the leaf.
Wow. Did you see the heat coming off of it?
Yeah, even though it's black, it's still probably 300-400 degrees.
Well, imagine if I just don't talk to it, you can't lost it.
It's very, very hot. The fire goes up to about 1,800 degrees in the centre. And it's an ordinary fire, steam cold, with air pushed through it. So it doesn't take long to heat up the steel. There it is, hot already. So I'll just hit in the centre. I'll hit more one side than the other. And then once or twice on that side. And then one more on this side. So I'll just put a little bit more of a kiss on there, on the end. Then I'll cut some veins into it. So I'll just put that over. This is called the bickern, or the horn. And I'll just cut that over. Just a few blows, that's it.
Oh wow.
Just to make it a bit more leaf shape. And now I'll use a long chisel to cut a few veins into it. Now, when blacksmiths generally make utilitarian items, but with a little bit of decoration on. So, if we make a gate, we don't just make a gate that's utilitarian. We like to put a few scrolls and a few leaves and a few twirly bits on it to make it look pretty. And this is exactly the same. If I wanted to make a poker or a toasting fork or a candlestick or anything that's utilitarian, and I wanted to put a bit of decoration on it, one of the bits of decoration is foliage. So a little leaf. Sometimes I make some roses up out of sheet metal. Look out, Mr. Spider.
Oh.
You don't want to walk onto that. That's a bit too fast. So I'm just cutting some lines in. Now the importance of being accurate and just the little tiny bits of detail when you're smithing makes an enormous difference. So there's a little leaf just forged out in a couple of minutes. Now the thing is, okay, that's a nice little bit of leaf decoration, but it's still a little bit flat and it's still a little bit utilitarian. Now I spoke just a couple of minutes ago about detail. Tiny bits of detail make all the difference. So now just by putting two little curls in this, you'll see the difference between it being a flat decorative object to something that could have fallen off a tree.